Growing up, I always heard about peer pressure as it related to drinking and smoking and things that your friends might get you to do. But people don't always talk about peer pressure as it applies to money, and I have found that that can be one of the hardest types of peer pressure to resist. What's your take on this?
I totally agree with you. I think that in the world of personal finance education, we leave out the true impact of relationships on our finances way too often. And I think a lot of times when we talk about it, we only think about romantic relationships. You know, how do I merge an account with my new spouse? Or how do I get my finances in order after a breakup? But it doesn't have to be that deep. I think that our friendships even play such a big role in our finances. And I find that it's so hard for us to say one teeny tiny magical word, and that's no. You know, no, I can't afford to go to happy hour with you every Friday. You know, it's no, I don't have the money to lend to you for something that is due to your lack of planning. It's not my emergency. You know, I don't have it to do, or I'm not in a position to do it. And we're so not okay with just saying no. And it's such a short and small yet powerful word.
I think a lot of times for people it's hard to say no because it's awkward. They're afraid they're going to damage the relationship or damage their social life. Let's start with the social life aspect. What would you tell someone who thinks they're going to miss out on experiences with their friends, or that they'll lose their friends because they're not going to drinks or going on trips?
So I would say two things to someone who feels like they're going to miss out. One, what's more important? Right now is getting your finances in order and taking care of that debt if you have any, or maybe saving up to take care of that big dream that you want more important. If it is, then yeah, you got to make some tough decisions every once in a while. It doesn't mean that you can't ever do anything, but it means that, you know, everything in moderation. Maybe you can't hang out every Friday. Maybe you can scale back to 2 Fridays a month, you know, and 2, there's always things that you can suggest that don't take a lot of money. So if you have friends that are always suggesting things that you know will cost you $100 for the weekend, why don't you take the initiative and suggest an activity that maybe will cost everyone $30? There's no rule that says that fun has to be expensive. Just do everything with discipline.
There's also the big question of roommates. What would you tell someone who's having trouble navigating a financial landscape with his or her housemates?
The roommate situation can be tricky because a lot of us choose roommates based on friendship and not on how it will impact our finances. And so I would say up front, you definitely have to get everything you can in writing. Just because we're friends, that doesn't mean that this is not a contractual agreement that we're going into. And it goes beyond the lease. It's not just about paying the rent, it's about paying the utilities. You know, a lot of us will have a discussion about, can a boyfriend stay over, for example, but we won't talk about what are the repercussions if you're paying bills late, because that might end up impacting your finances well after that roommate is gone. So I really suggest sitting down before you even move in together, before there's any physical furniture in a place and you sign a lease, and talking about who's going to do what and what are the repercussions if it's not done. And if someone doesn't honor their side of the agreement, then don't let too much time pass before you address it. Just because we're friends, again, that doesn't mean that you can let this go on for 3 months and 6 months and 12 months. All that does is allow fear to creep up to keep you from having the conversation, and it also makes you bitter. And in the long run, I think a friend can respect you being honest and just coming out and saying, this is what's going on and we got to talk about it. I wouldn't want you to ruin the friendship altogether, so have the conversation and save the friendship.